Hello guys and welcome back to Strategic Command, World War II, World at War with our first ever PvP against SirTravis. In the last episode, we continued here in August 28th of 1942, moving in on China and slowly, of course, about as fast as we can go. There are still some movements that I haven't quite made, that I haven't quite set up properly yet, that I probably should. I don't know if I want you to go back through the road or try to skip ahead. Don't know what's possible. You have mobility, so it's probably possible to just go this way, right? I guess there's one way to find out. I'll just send you down that way and we'll see what happens. Got that other army that'll just kind of harass these for right now. But we ended last episode accidentally running into a bunch of his ships here. It's pure luck my destroyer did not run into one of his ships. It's pure luck, dude. I just happened to move the carrier forward next and then immediately see all of this crap. And God, I don't even know what I'm looking at. This medium bomber might see some use even though it hasn't been upgraded. We only have 3 MPPs right now, so there's no repairing. The carrier fleet is coming down here to kill ships that he has in the region, and so this would be a good way to do it. Ships are very expensive, and the UK does not have a lot of money, even with Lend-Lease, to be building entire fleets back together. Neither do we. But with carriers and battleships on the way, and only looks like Australian ships in the region, we have potentially pretty good odds. It doesn't feel like he has any kind of decisive battle doctrine here with how haphazardly these are spread out. If anything, I feel like these are more screening, patrolling for submarines and whatnot. That's what this feels like, right? So I don't believe I should expect any British or American carrier fleets in the region. But we do have this carrier, the Akagi, dedicated on fighter support, so it will be able to provide that fighter support to us, even if he does show up with a carrier fleet, right? And we're definitely going to leave the Zuriho escort carrier on that as well. I don't see any subs in the region, but we're going to have to keep that in mind. Given that we don't know what's coming, I'm going to start off with the rearmost, but also least valuable ones of our units. Ideally, I want to be striking the heavy cruisers first and foremost. Destroyers, what's your anti-air capacity against bombers in general? Is just 1. I assume it's the same by default on these. It appears so, unless carrier is what it actually counts. It might be what it counts. Regardless, my battleships can't quite, none of them really except 1, can't quite make it into actual, like, up-close fighting area. This is all still in my supply zone, though, so I can take advantage of the one that can by just coming down like this. So there is always the chance he has some stuff over here. Let's go ahead and just move the Congo up here, leaning more to the east. We can see that that stuff is good. What? Only 4 strength? But why? Why is it so weak? Maybe it started out like this and then he just didn't want to repair it. I have no idea. It's Australian. I haven't fought anything Australian. Why is it so injured? I don't know, but we're going to blow it up with a battleship. That maybe was a little excessive, but we got a national morale bonus against the UK. The Japs are going to be chipping away at what the UK has. Now, the rest of this is going to have to be carrier based, right? So I mathed it out, right? That I could move right down here and still bombard stuff. But I don't know if he's going to have any fighters. We do have that fighter escort available, so shouldn't be too crazy. Let's fly and bomb. 6 damage dealt. We did take 2 damage to our bombers, however. That's unfortunate. We're going to bomb again, and we successfully wiped out that heavy cruiser with our carrier, though taking 3 damage to our bombers. That's fine. The trade there is really, really good MPP-wise for us. Not sure where we are going to get those MPPs back, though. We don't have any major ports in the region. That's already some losses that I guess I maybe wasn't entirely expecting yet. Maybe we can have a small detachment that, like, goes home? Because, shit, dude. To actually get that back, where we can get it to 8. Like, right here at the Solomons, but only to 8. This guy wasn't in range of anybody other than that destroyer, so I just let the battleship take care of that. I knew that we would definitely suffer some losses doing this bombing the way we are, but man. Okay, well, that's something. We'll put you on bombers as well. Send you just 1 more down, and then send you out. Now we know there's definitely no carriers. 6 damage dealt, 1 taken, and it tried to run away. And 4 damage dealt, it's dead, and we took another damage. So, 2 enemy heavy cruisers defeated. That's 500 MPP's worth of heavy cruisers and 175 MPP's worth of destroyers from the Australian fleet. That comes out of British MPPs. I mean, you know, 2-3 turns of Lend-Lease from America pays for that, but still, he's got to put stuff elsewhere. Even if I'm not pressuring him in Italy anymore, or in Libya, Egypt, he'd still be, you know, wanting to send stuff there, maybe using the UK to support US operations upcoming. By the way, I totally forgot to reinforce the planes over here. I completely forgot, and we only have 13 MPPs as Germany, so I can upgrade the anti-air of the one on Paris. That seems fitting, considering he keeps bombing it. So let's go ahead and do that. These guys will just have to maybe chill out a little bit. I imagine he's moved his blockade away, maybe? Or at least not left it so close, right? And the best way to check that would be with this bomber, but this one needs to potentially reinforce and also get long-range aircraft on it. I don't want to deal with those expenses right now. I did get the sub rating the USSR. I moved it down here. I moved everything around here. Some of it, whatever had a good arc to go this way, came this way to use that port. Totally also forgot to upgrade the Coast Guard sub on Las Palmas, so that was an accident. That was a mistake. Oh well. What are you gonna do? You know, I forgot. It needs to not reinforce, it needs to just get its upgrade. We got 2 raiding right here. They were moving south to get some more supplies, but they're gonna stay in the region, kind of queuing up to use this port. Okay, you know, I was stressing out thinking he might be able to land and take Las Palmas, but it's not Spanish, so he can't. Not without attacking Spain. That's good. Same thing with this one over here. Our subs can't operate as high of an efficiency. I don't want to try to risk right here, because if he had that blockade, it would be like over here. I sent Travis a screenshot, because this scared the crap out of me when I saw these ships. I said, Travis, why do you have so many ships here? I said, fucking jump scare. Sent him just a tiny screenshot of the Coral Sea, not showing my ships. He tried to tease me, curious how many more there are, wink, but they're all dead. And I knew they would all be dead, because I knew what I was sending down here. So, we do still have the 2 carriers with elite reinforcements, kind of good and ready to go. This one literally can't get anything better without going somewhere else. I mean, what is the quality of the ports here? This is a major port. A major port can do it. If we did capture Sydney, that would be enough, but it would be slow given the situation. And there really just isn't anything else close by that is a major port. Well, if we do figure out what to do with them, we'll have to figure it out later, because they can't move anymore right now anyway. So here's this, like, incidental front line that we are creating, I suppose. It's not really intentional, but it's what it is. I'll move another destroyer. Oh, you know, this one's tough, actually. This is tough. Supply extends to down there, at least. I'll move a destroyer right in front of this. That seems potentially fitting. We don't have a lot of things that I would call screens. Block this off. Block this off. And block this off with these units here. Should be sufficient to then just dump the other carriers right around here. Yeah, this looks good to me. He's not going to come crashing through the Solomon Islands with anything, and if he does, it's going to be a carrier force. We do have a pretty sufficient force here, you know, so we're good. Only 2 of them are set to bombers. We'll have a lot of potential coverage here. I guess this carrier... Oh my god, there's more! What the fuck? There's more! I don't have the ability to change any more of these right now, but we can see that there's more. There's another light cruiser. Oh, crap. Unless I use heavy cruisers, this is simply just not in our ability to attack right now, and I don't want to try to rush this with heavy cruisers. I'd rather let him retreat than strike a little too far forward with heavy cruisers. Not that I expect him to have anything to counter me in the region, it is just a light cruiser here, but taking out what we took out is good enough, and the units we used for it is fitting, I would say. It's definitely fitting. Oh, I wish you had the range, bro. Look at this, man. There's so much. What the fuck? All right, now how the hell are we going to squeeze all this stuff in? Like, we want to make some sort of shell here. Some sort of shell. Like this. And like this. A defensive shell. A cocoon, if you will. All these battleships just in the rear for right now, I suppose, and now these heavy cruisers can take kind of a rear defensive. He can't come through here. That's impossible. So we can send this forward as a screen. He won't be able to see us without a carrier. So I'm quite content with that. We'll move to right about here. And then we do have subs on the way. We do have subs nearby and potentially on the way we can use as well. Okay, if he does send Americans westwards, honestly, I feel like the cores we're sending that we're starting to send should hopefully be enough. I can't justify in my head leaving these submarines where they are. I cannot. I'm so tempted to try to reach out, see if I get him to run into one of the subs. So what if we take a risk of like forcing ourselves down here? We'd have to pass by one of his ports, but if we can make it, which we did, if he tries to run back to this port, not this one, but this one, then we could catch him. Maybe I should set something up for that port as well. We would have to kind of pass right through here. Pretty sure a port can only see one out, not two, so thank God we made that. So, yeah, can I inspect my own ports? Yeah, I can only spot out one. So if he tries to come this way, we'll catch him. If he tries to come this way, we'll catch him. Finally, there's always the chance that he heads south. And so that would look something like this or this. Yeah, probably something more like this. Let's go and do this. Kind of just go right past him. Set up a trap. So if you try to get to the safety of this port, we got you. This port, we got you. South towards Sydney, we got you. Maybe up from there to unify somewhere, we got you. You know, I got these 3 subs. Let's use them kind of offensively in this situation. I think that's a pretty good idea. I don't think I should expect anything to suddenly appear from this side, especially not with the lack of mobility in this area. So I feel it's probably pretty safe. I don't think anything's going to come from this way as well. But I will at least go ahead and place this heavy cruiser, say, right here. Kind of clog up one of the main entrances you can take to get in here. Still kind of unified with the fleet. I'm going with a very, like, decisive battle doctrine. Even though Japan's really not supposed to do that and lost that historically. I feel like it's Japan's only chance. And since he's not going with any kind of decisive battle doctrine so far, at least not with the Australians in this region, then we're good. When I did the Allies, I very much operated under decisive battle doctrine as well. And that's why I didn't have a lot of naval fights. And even so far we haven't, because I have operated with a decisive naval doctrine, and I guess I could see by Europe he has not been operating with a decisive naval battle doctrine like I've been doing. So that's the ships. The ships are all done. They're good. I guess it's the special forces. All right, so the Hama HQ is now down here by Hollandia, and the 2 special forces that were already out are now right around here in the Solomon Islands. You really can't do more than approach here anyway at best, right? So I think they should be safe, tucked away by the Navy for right now. So we'll have the HQ and 2 special forces very, very close to the action. Very ready, very soon. This one could always deploy rather quickly if necessary. But we'll get the others moving down as soon as possible. We are going to need to push further, so resultingly I'm probably going to need to keep even these injured carriers somewhere close by. Oh, the ones with the injured planes. Hell, one of them might stay behind to get back from 7 to 8 for all I know. Or maybe we just leave those on fighter duty coming up while we use the other ones more for bombing. If we do capture Sydney and it does get back up to strength fast enough, we could just kind of idle, linger around in this region, though even that is kind of dangerous because if he knows where the fleet is and it's so far away from Japan, he could either go get it or he could decide, well, maybe I'll go try to land at Japan. And I mean, he could. He could. There is an island defense force that will deploy if he tries that. But he could land here. He would give me a bunch of free units if he did, but he could try it at the very least. I don't think there's anything else to really do as Japan. Germany still has some movements to do at the very least. Let's harass his anti-tank. We dealt 4 damage with that bomb and only took 1. That's pretty nice. I am half tempted to move up and do a blitz attack while I still actually have some amount of supply in this region. Maybe it could cut off Gaelic as well as Vologda, honestly. Let's take a look. He has only 1 strength remaining. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. That's a dead enemy anti-tank. Hell fucking yeah. Now I could go take Gaelic for myself. We have now an injured core up here that has to potentially be worried over, but it's no real big deal. Now, everything else here. So you still need advanced tanks upgrades, which is a thing. We do also need something to protect Gorky. I'm not quite sure what we're going to use for that. I'm going to move the tactical bombers SG-1s down over here. We do have partisans and everything in place over in this region. Let's see, as a show of strength, I'll just move this forward anyway, regardless of its circumstances. I will force march the tank further south, hopefully in view of this so he knows it's here. I want to see him as strong in this region as possible. Force marched in the rear with this tank or not. We have to make this show of force as we try to establish a front line that I hope to kind of reach and establish, you know, and keep throughout the winter, where I'll have more of an opportunity to do these little side upgrades. Poor Von Rundstedt here doesn't have his movement upgrades yet, I see. That's not too great, Von Rundstedt. I really don't know what to do about Gorky. I haven't left myself any options for Gorky. I'll tell you what, I don't think we have a lot to fear from his planes or anything. So let's move this anti-tank forward to defend up by Gorky, right? Okay. And then this is not exactly where I want this HQ going. We're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 HQs all in one spot, huh? I think I was thinking of sending 1 HQ west, wasn't I? At some point. And with this, well, freeing one up to either head over into France or to prepare for this situation, or even be free to head down here, is probably a pretty decent thing. And Von Rundstedt's just, he's not quite up to snuff. You know what I'm saying? He's not quite upgraded. I mean, not all of them are anyway. Von Manstein, he's definitely staying up at the front. Von Manstein, very, very elite. Oh, for the love of God. So, tell you what then. Let's go ahead and just move you right here. You'll still be on the rail line. You're still boosting supply up to be good enough next to you, so that works out pretty well. We need to keep these moving, so I'll move you down this way. I'll move you down this way. Gotta have as strong of a showing of force as possible. Ending some units definitely on the rail line, just in case. These bombers definitely need to be moving east. Not sure really how far east, but I guess as far east as possible, while still being in pretty good supply. Let's say 1 to right about here would be pretty good. I mean, just in general, this region looks pretty good. Anywhere we got these 7, 8s, 9s along this side of the river, in fact. I don't want him to see the bomber, though, like its exact location, because if he looks at it with a bomber, and he'll realize, oh shit, you know, this is pretty smart to bomb. Well, let's send this one over here for that reason. We do need fighters up front as well. This one over by Ryazak is not in a terrible location, but it's not in an amazing location either. And I'm going to have a garrison that has to come over towards Moscow to kind of fill in over here. I should name one of these. So let's see. Moscow garrison. That's where you're going. I don't know where anybody else is going yet. We're going to have to figure that out as time goes on. As time goes on. The lowland lurker fighters are pretty well off, and we have 4 HQs here. That's pretty darn good, but I'm not too certain about moving up too fast. There's these Romanians as well that could get some upgrades. You don't need more than 5 supply to get upgrades, so that's not too bad. We don't want them relying on this. We'll just move you up to Salsk, I think. Let's move you up to Salsk. That has at least the 5 supply. Gets you closer to where you should be heading in the long run. And then we got to split up a little bit with the fighters here, but generally they're in pretty decent locations already. Generally. Yeah, generally. Let's say we just move you up to here and move you down here. And that'll keep you in pretty good supply. Yes. Okay, cool. And so we'll have 4 HQs on this front. We're going to have Von Rundstedt kind of split off and get ready to maybe lead some sort of defense over here if need be. And he's going to be a garrison for this turn. and or be available to head south to accompany maybe an operation of our air down south. What do we even have here? The 3, 4, the 5, the 6 tactical bombers. Splitting 2, if not 3 of these off would be pretty useful eventually. We need to break through this though, and he's just constantly churning out, buying more units, and that's been a real pain in the butt. But there's nobody else to really move as Germany, I think, and I missed out on some upgrades and reinforcements. It's just I need to get at least one carrier building. I need to get the other one building kind of soon, because it's like 19 months to spit one out. It's towards the end, like we're past the halfway mark of 1942. So these things are going to come out in like the middle of 1944 or something. So we need to get them paid for soon. Definitely the 2 carriers. Battleships I don't think will be as important, because a lot of this stuff, a lot of this fighting with the UK especially with American assistance, is going to come down to air. So those carriers are just absolutely essential, plus more air power eventually. It's not necessary yet. Battleships not as important if you ask me. Will be important after that is probably more subs, destroyers then, and that's really all we can even do for the German Navy, and that stuff can wait because it comes out pretty quickly. We just need a functional German Navy, and if we get that far, hopefully we have taken Egypt by that point. I imagine we would have. Definitely. The Italian Navy can be freed up as well, though it is not as impressive, and they can only have 1 carrier, which we're not going to be concerning ourselves with because it's Italy. The western front of our Italian forces are still moving into position. What's supply like over here? Okay. We'll move the tank over here. The Ariete. You know, I looked up what the Ariettes were. In real life, the Ariete was an elite Italian division, but not really for me here. So we're getting those Italians moving west. We'll have the 1 HQ, the Ariete tanks, and a bunch of corps, 3 corps, to shore up that western front to defend. I don't imagine we could really defend Vichy proper with the way things are right now, so I'm really just not going to concern myself with it. These guys are very surface fleet heavy, so they could definitely reinforce the German fleet later if need be, while the Germans focus on just upgrading their current surface fleet and getting those 2 carriers and all the necessary air power running. Now, Italy has 174 MPPs right now, and they'll be getting more, and I could start putting this into some kind of research, for example. Because I know they're not going to be able to go on the attack now. They're not going to be able to go on the attack next year. Like, let's imagine this like this, right? By next turn, I don't think we're going to reach Tehran. We can get outside of Tehran if it's undefended, but I don't think we'll get to Tehran, right? Because what is the actual movement on a cavalry division? It's only 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or maybe 4, right? Like, we're going to get outside Tehran, not to Tehran. So it's like 1, maybe 2, assuming no resistance, right? 3, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, it's going to be a year. It's going to be a literal year before the Germans conquer their way down here with the way things are looking right now. And that's assuming no resistance, right? So the Italians are going to be sitting here for a while. And so they need to do a couple things with their MPPs. So what I actually put points into is really questionable, right? I definitely want infantry warfare. That's vital. Indie tech, it's debatable how important this is for Italy. But it's cheap and it could be useful. It's cheap and it could be useful, but it is debatable overall. We already have all of the important techs for them. Infantry weapons and command and control. Sure, there's some other ones that are pretty important. Infantry warfare, especially infantry warfare, maybe naval warfare. One more naval weaponry would be fantastic, right? But they're going to be sitting here probably for like a year. We're not going to be able to really go after Egypt until the later part of 1943 at this rate, just due to movement limitations in general, unless I'm willing to send a German HQ down here and then operate planes down here to do it like this. And taking Egypt is important, but it's not that important, right? Italy having time to build up isn't the most awful thing in the world. I don't usually consider these techs for Italy because they need other things way more, but their front's going to get so stagnant. They accomplished more than I could historically expect them to. And now they just kind of need to work on themselves. And so working on these techs could be pretty useful, and they are pretty cheap to get into. In addition to other important things, right? But we can't expect them to be like super amazing in air. It's Italy, mainly infantry, and then navy on top of that, but they can hardly even maintain that. So I think I will go ahead and I'll put some research points into indie tech. We might look at production tech and maybe some more logistics later. Indie tech is just that big one because it's constant MPPs just all the time. And they have maybe like 100 MPP income base in Italy proper, if even that. So getting what they can to bolster that up, at least slowly over time, would be pretty nice. They only have 49 MPPs remaining right now, and there's nothing that they have that really needs any upgrades. No, it doesn't seem like that. There's some things that can get upgrades, but needing upgrades is a question mark. Like, I can get upgrades on the medium bombers. Do we need it? No. Can I get it? Yes. You know what? Sure, let's just get it. Because these things haven't died yet. Naval weapon here could be pretty useful in case he shows up with any ships to try to contest this area. Italy's very weak. They start out with a lot, but they're very weak. But they're in a decent position right now. They'll have a sizable force to defend the western part of Libya. He's going to have to allocate a lot of transportation material to move things to Africa to push me back in Egypt, and he might as well just take Ethiopia while he's at it, but he probably won't, right? So that's just good for me. So all in all, this looks pretty good. As we approach 1943, it's smart to remember some of our treaties are expiring, however. Greece, for example, won't necessarily be neutral, as well as these convoy routes won't necessarily be unraidable anymore. We're going to have to discuss that stuff and see how that goes once 1943 comes around. But Italy, I think, you know, they've done their push. They just need to sit back, chill out, and build up now. The Soviets are priority number one. The Germans can work their way down to Egypt and then bomb the living shit out of it when the time comes, as we continue to then prepare our forces for a couple things. Probably the invasion of the UK, an inevitable invasion probably of Italy and Libya. And so that's probably going to fall on Italy's shoulders, certainly. Libya's falling on Germany's shoulders, but this is probably what we can do. What we have here is what we can do. Hopefully he's being cautious and he's not going to go too crazy with it, because god damn it, I need time. Hopefully my invasion of Australia will slow him down by making him question things. Now, I'm going to do a quick look around the map, see if I've missed anything little, and if I haven't, we will end the turn. Okay, I see nothing that stands out. Ethiopia is still nice and quiet, the way we like it. Supply here is still terrible because Suez, oh well, you know. Let's go ahead and hit end turn, pass back to him. Fall of Singapore hits British morale and hopefully gives Japan more MPPs to work with. Capture of Singapore. Soviet national morale falls with the loss of Baku and Gorky. Japanese have offered us use of obsolete naval base at Penang in Malaya, which we could use to supply U-boats operating in the Indian Ocean. The Kriegsmarine would like to send some monsoon boats there to disrupt Allied convoys, and they state that the cost of refitting and sending U-boats will be 75 MPPs at 25 a turn for 3 turns. Base will take some time to be refitted and should be ready by the time the U-boats arrive. Would you like to invest in the Penang Naval Base? I remember this event. I remember this, and I remember not liking it. Because what this is, oh god, I have to just go over there. They give you this naval base, and only the naval base, and I don't remember it being as good as it is in Japan's hands. You do have to pay to get the monsoon boats going over there, but there's a lot more MPPs than just these 75 to actually get them up and running and hyper-functional, and I think we need to just keep the German MPPs where they need to be. So no, I would not like to invest in the Penang Naval Base. Malaya surrenders, 60 MPPs from them. Oh, those were the Malayan units that got rid of the Malayan units. Those islands are open for the taking now. Okay, oh my. Well, I'll have to get to that when I get to that, I suppose, because I'm really not in position. Because you saw the zones of control going away? Brazil's joined the Allies. That was inevitable. Hotspur Destroyer deploys for service. So I gotta make like a mental note that we do need to get special forces over there eventually. But that's gonna have to wait until like after the start of the invasion of Australia, I guess. 11th Army forms in India. 224 group forms in India. Yeah. Indian forms in India. Oh my gosh. Indians are getting a lot of free units. Oh, a garrison unit deploys in Singapore. I did not know that was going to happen. Maybe I should have, but I did not know. Oh, this was moved a little bit. That's so weird. Huh. Jojo accuses Gandhi of being in the service of Japan. That's funny. I guess we don't need an additional corps over there then. We've just kind of freed one up. Allied stronghold surrenders to Japan. Yes. Red Orchestra espionage group is broken up in Berlin. I guess a garrison on Singapore can work. It's not really what I want on Singapore, quite frankly, but it could work. I'll think that over when we actually do the next turn. Rocket weapons level 3 is done. That's neat. Amphibious warfare level 3 for Japan. Yes, that means we get more stuff out at sea. Maybe I should like redirect something to taking, like maybe just one thing to taking Brunei and Kuching, because they have oil. And that's very useful for Japan. Spying and intelligence level 2 done. We have a lot of research still to do as Japan. Yeah, Italy collect 106, not bad. Whoa, Germany's getting just more and more MPPs as time goes on. Japan really hasn't improved very much. They're really not that great in terms of MPPs, but they're getting better as we take more things over. But that's it. That's the whole turn. So that's going to be it for today and this week. And who knows when he gets to turn back to us. But we will pick this up when he gets to turn back to us. So for now, thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you on the next one.